Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by Tara Luthra. Tara is the managing director in the investment banking and capital markets division at Credit Suisse. Before joining Credit Suisse, Tara worked at Morgan Stanley for about 16 years. At Credit Suisse, Tara's areas of expertise include M&A and equity and debt capital markets. And Tara is responsible for covering some of the most high-profile clients in the Middle East. Tara graduated from the University of Edinburgh with a first-class master's in economics and math. She also participated in an exchange program at the University of Pennsylvania. In 2020, Tara completed an MBA Essentials program from the Lund School of Economics. Tara, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Saeeda, for having me and for spearheading this fantastic initiative.
It's wonderful to have you, Tara. So, Tara, you are in an industry that is traditionally been viewed as a very, male-dominated industry and a tough industry, one that takes a lot of work, a lot of grind. Tell us, is if you always wanted to be an investment banker, and what was it that shaped your along the way?
That's a good question. When I kind of fell into this career, I didn't know what investment banking was, to be completely honest with you. I really just fell into it. I thought banking was interesting and I applied to a few places. I got offered an internship at Morgan Stanley straight out of university. And, frankly, the rest is history. I really fell into it. And, it's been a really good ride so far.
Fantastic. And you've been very, very lucky to have had some very strong female role models in the firms that you've worked at. Tell us a little bit about how these role models have shaped your experiences.
Sure. Let me start by saying, Saida, I think it's actually really important to have role models. It's really important to have someone you can look up to, aspire to be like, kind of look at the path they followed and forged, and think, great, there's something there that I would like to do. So it's really important and relevant to have models, no matter what career you're in. For me, those role models have come, I've had male role models and I've had female role models. So, for me, the gender hasn't been relevant when it comes to my role models. But since you specifically asked about women role models, yes, I've been very lucky. I've had, quite a few very, very high profile ones. In particular, I think for me, May Nasrallah has been a very strong role model. I know she's someone you know well. She set up Morgan Stanley's business here in the Middle East, then left the firm to set up her own advisory practice, de novo, and she's currently also the non-executive chairman of BlackRock in the Middle East. So, a woman of many
Mhm.
facets. And for me, she's really been a mentor in my entire career journey, someone I've bounced ideas off of, someone who's challenged me. And I think that's really important in a role model. Someone who helps you to challenge status quo, questions your decisions. And she's done all of that for me along the way. So that's been really, really helpful.
That's so good. Honestly, Tara, it's not often that people find good role models and role models that you can relate to and have a personal relationship with that transcends time and transcends perhaps the organizations you happen to be at the place. What would you say to some of the others that are out there? Do you think that we do enough in terms of creating the right structures, the right opportunities for men, women to have the right role models, or do you think this is an area that we need to spend a bit more time on?
That's a good question. I think we can always do more. To be honest, I do think that what you said at the beginning of this conversation still holds true. Investment banking is very much a male-dominated industry even today. We're definitely making strides, and in the U.S. in particular, there have been many strides, which is why it's not surprising to see a lot of women in senior positions in US investment banks. But as we move eastwards, the numbers start dwindling. So I do think there's always scope to do more. I don't think the formal mentorship programs work. I have to be honest. I think it's very much a personal decision. You have to find your own mentor. It's very personal who you click with. It's very personal who you can relate to. It's very personal who you are willing to kind of stick the distance with, and it works both ways, right?
Yeah.
So I think the programs specifically that force a mentorship on you don't always work very well. But definitely, I think if there are other things that can be done to create to make it easier to create structures, particularly today, given most of us are working from home and there isn't that connectivity with people in the
Right.
office on a day-to-day basis. I think it's even more relevant and even more important for the firms and the organizations we work in, to try and help forge some of those bonds.
I think you raised an excellent point, right? I think in this world where pandemic drives and shapes so many of our interactions and so much of our day-to-day life, I think we all need that. We need that connection. We need that experience where we have a group of people that we can rely on, some of our mentors. And in fact, I mean, one of the things I know that you've mentioned to me in the past is that you have a group of colleagues, of trusted friends who you call your personal board that is always there for you and that bring different viewpoints and different facets and that you always go to whenever you have to make interesting or important decisions. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because I call them my personal board, but most of them don't know each other. Most of them don't meet I mean, they definitely don't meet on a regular basis, and they're definitely not getting paid. So it's a pro bono personal board. And look, it's multifaceted. It's a multifaceted board. It has people from different walks of life. So depending on the situation I'm in, that board also evolves, right? So it can include my parents and my sister and my husband, and it includes my clients, who some of whom have become close friends. It includes mentors. It includes people I know from my previous career. So it's a multifaceted board. What the way that this board helps me, frankly, is lots of different points of view, right, come across. And ultimately, if there's an important decision to be made, let me be clear, I'm going to make my own decisions. But they have the ability to let sometimes make me see things that perhaps I'm not seeing. So again, they help me challenge the status quo, give me a full picture. And i
Yeah,
i feel I benefit from that tremendously, because I've made a decision with 10 minds together rather than just mine.
for
So
pro bono.
it's
I love
and it's for pro
it.
bono. So I encourage everyone to have this mental to have this mental board.
Very nice. In addition to being a very successful banker, you are also a mother and a wife and a daughter. How do you balance it all?
Yeah, look, I mean, that has to be the biggest challenge, right? I mean, there's no dancing around that subject.
Yeah.
It has to be the biggest challenge that we face as women in this career or any other career, frankly speaking.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
look, it takes a lot of organization, and I'm sure you know this better than anyone, Saida. It takes a lot of organization, a lot of planning ahead, almost precision planning. And it takes, I have to be honest, it takes a supportive spouse, right? It's very difficult to do it without a supportive spouse and a support system that extends beyond your spouse. So, we're very lucky here in the Middle East to be able to have a support structure that we can put us around ourselves, right, in terms of the help we have at home. And so it's really about balancing all of that and bringing all of that to bear. But
Mm.
without that, it's tough.
Yeah. No, I can completely relate to that. As so many women have said, right, it takes a village. And we are, as you said, so lucky and so blessed to be in an environment and in a surrounding that allows us to be able to have that, right? And we should absolutely take advantage and do what we can. So fully agreed. Yeah. Tara, what advice would you have for some of our younger women and men who are just starting out in their career?
For me, there have been a lot of learnings in this career. It's very difficult to pick just a few, but there are one or two that really stand out for me in terms
Mm,
of what I have learned or what I will, carry with me. I would say the first one is own your career. You need to
mm,
own your career. Do not rely on anyone else to do it for you. You're responsible for making sure your voice is heard. You are responsible for making sure people know what you stand for, and you are responsible for making sure that people know what you bring to the table, right? I mean, no
yeah,
line manager or boss is going to do it for you. They have to worry about their own career and other things that are going on, right? So really take
right.
ownership and don't be afraid to take ownership of your own career. That would be the first one. The second one is a little bit cliched, but take risks. Okay, I
Mm,
know people say that, and it sounds cliched, but the reality is, if you're
yeah,
going to be scared to rock the boat, you're going to become irrelevant, right?
yeah,
If you're going to be scared to speak up in a meeting, if you're going to be scared to make your voice heard, you will become irrelevant eventually. So
yeah,
whether it's putting your hand up for that new opportunity within the firm, whether it's putting your hand up to take on a new client that might scare you, right? Because it's
yeah,
so important or so high profile. Just do it. Just take that chance. I mean, for me, it
yeah,
has paid back, and so I encourage everyone else to do it as well. And then
absolutely.
maybe finally, and you and I have spoken about this before, it's network with authenticity. And what I mean by that is, in our line of business, we come across people every day. You know this,
Mm,
Saida, right? Where it's very superficial. It's
mm,
about, gathering information, getting to know someone because there's something in it for you. And those
yes,
relationships don't last the course, right? I've had
mm,
clients say to me, we like working with you because we know you take a long term view about our business. Right? Whereas,
yeah,
we may meet other people that are very transaction focused, and those
yeah.
relationships never last. So network with authenticity because people can see that, and it really helps in our line of work and in every line of work, frankly.
Oh, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. And I think, especially in today's day and age when, frankly, networking is a bit overused and, everybody it seems to be out there doing it, I
Yeah,
think the authenticity part is absolutely critical. Because at the end of the day, if authenticity is not there, you won't be
what's
left
the
with
point? Yeah.
money. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Tara. Wonderful words of wisdom. Really appreciate you joining us and sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you, Saida. Great doing this with you.